Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Tuesday, of course, joined by the brilliant LB. Potsy's on holiday today, so we're blessed with the presence of man like Don. How are you, gentlemen? You both well?
Good, man.
Yeah. All good, man. All good. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for Premier League to come back this weekend. But for the first time in a long time, I'm actually not that scared about watching England. You know what I mean? So hopefully tonight should be decent. You know what I mean? Because Lee Carsley plays like attacking football. So yeah, I can actually watch my country play football again, which is nice.
I agree. I watched the extended highlights. I was out on Saturday. I actually took a day off, which is well rare for me. But it was on. It just happened. I walked to the place we went to eat, had it on. So I watched bits of it. And there's some really nice football. Some of the link-up play was very, very good. And yeah, hopefully more of the same tonight at home and pick up a little W. And then we really start to build up for the weekend ahead, the return of the proper football. And a few people have asked me this. Like, Terry, why does your intro just cut off like that? I don't understand people don't get cultural. Again, I'm inspired by Breaking Bad. That's what I'm going to say. If you've not watched Breaking Bad or Soul, you won't get it. Like the intro, it plays and then it cuts off randomly. That's what I asked for. That's all it's for. That's why it cuts off weirdly. So that's just for you trolls that don't understand it. But there we go. Loads to talk about today. We're going to be getting Don's take, and of course LB's, but Don's take on the big ownership trouble at Chelsea. What does he want to happen? Big updates on that today as well. There's more leaks at Man United, and I'm not talking about our roof. I'm talking about the Casemiro situation.
There probably is leaks on the roof, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it's always raining in Manchester, so I can't imagine there not being leaks. On top of that, I want to speak about the situation with Arsenal. We're going to start with the Arsenal scenario because Odegaard picked up an injury last night on international duty. It could be as much as 4 months out if there is a ligament tear. If there is a slight tear, it could be up to sort of like 6 weeks. If it's a sprain, they reckon 2 weeks. But ahead of the North London derby, there are reports coming out today that have been shared here that Arsenal could be without 8 players for the North London derby. Spurs looking to get Van der Ven back. This could spell big trouble for Arsenal, LB.
Yeah, 100%, man. But the thing is, this goes back to the transfer window. And I remember doing shows with you at the time, and I said I didn't think Arsenal's transfer window was good enough. You know what I mean? If you actually deep it, they've gone into the season 4 trophies. Are they in the Club World Cup at the end of the year? Or are they not in that? No.
Of course they're not in there. They're not getting anything in Europe.
well, yeah. So they've got 4 trophies to compete for, yeah? 4. This club has 1 proper attacking midfielder. You know that?
Yeah.
Do you not think that is absolutely wild? What's crazy is, when I raised this on the show and on various different platforms and said, I think you need a creative midfielder. Oh, no, we're all right. We've got this player. We've got that player. The fact is, Arsenal only really have 1 creative player in that midfield, and that's Odegaard. You know what I mean? And you know, why they didn't go and get someone else to rotate with him and back up to him? It's just like they're so slow to react to anything. You know, it took them 2-3 years to get a Raheem Sterling back up. And even then, they've only got Sterling on loan. You know what I mean? They've still not got an out-and-out killer in front of goal, which I felt that they should have done. They're just so slow. And at the end of the day, you know, Arsenal's got to hope and pray that this doesn't cost them, because if they lose the game against Spurs, they're going to be right in the shit, you know, provided that City beat Brentford, which you'd expect City to beat Brentford, despite we do have a bit of a dodgy record against them. This just puts massive pressure. You shouldn't be under this much pressure on match day 4 of the Premier League.
Yeah,
like there is a chance that City could go 8 points clear of Arsenal if obviously Spurs beat Arsenal and City beat Arsenal when we play them at the Etihad. 8 points after 5 games. That is just ridiculous. And ultimately, it comes back down to the transfer window. You know what I mean? I said I didn't think they had a good transfer window. I thought they'd done the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Where's the backup creative midfielder? Where's the striker? Where's the killer? Where's the someone different? And people are saying, we've got Havertz and Jesus. Well, Jesus spends half the time on injured anyway. You know what I mean? And then you've just got Havertz on his own, and you need some different type of player. So, listen, I said it as soon as the transfer window closed. I don't think Arsenal are going to win in the league. I don't think they've got the squad for it. Don't think they've got the backup. And I think their transfer window is going to cost them massively. Having said all that, I still expect them to beat Spurs, to be honest. because I still think that Spurs and I just think Arsenal will beat Spurs anyway. But even then, if City beat them, we'll be ahead of them again. And I just don't see them catching up. And for me, it just lacks ambition. I look at the transfer windows all the time when I look at Arsenal, and I just think all the time they just lack ambition, man. So they're going to have to hope that it's not a serious injury. They're going to have to hope that he's only out for a game or maybe two. But for me, nah, this is Arsenal's own doing, man, with their poor transfer window. I really think it's poor.
It's mad. It's actually mad when you deep it, bro, because you got to look at just some of the negligence, bro, right? Some of the decision making from Edu is mad. You get rid of Smith Rowe, you get rid of Vieira as well, who for me isn't good enough to be playing for Arsenal anyway. Smith Rowe, I don't feel like he was really given an opportunity under Arteta. I think Arteta preferred Nwaneri going forward over Smith Rowe. You bring in Marino, who unfortunately gets injured in training, but you haven't got that guy really that can come in for an Odegaard. They kind of speak from a place of privilege where it's like we've had Odegaard, Saka, Saliba last season stay injury free all year, bro. Yeah, and Terry, that's what I always tell you, bro. With Chelsea, in order to compete, we need to keep our main players fit. They've got one of their main players who isn't fit now. We're going into the weekend. And they're panicking already, bro. You're seeing so many people saying we're not going to challenge anymore. We're not going to do this anymore because they're looking at whoever's going to come in for him. And they're scrambling, bro. I'm seeing Igal putting things up about playing Raheem Sterling in the 10. Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to do that, bro.
I'm seeing him talking about playing Sterling in the 10. I'm seeing them talking about dropping Havertz into the midfield as if we haven't seen that experiment fail already. Yeah. I'm seeing them talking about Trossard in there. I'm seeing some people talking about Zinchenko in that position. And already, like LB is saying, in game week 4, the fact that we're having these conversations goes to show that they did not do enough to bring in players in reserve that can take up those positions. Yeah, because a lot of people speak about it all the time. Like I've gone back and forth with Northside about this. He spoke about the bench, Arsenal's bench for a minute. He's been talking about it. Even when they win games, say, yo, this squad is not strong enough. And this season, when I was looking at the transfer business that they were doing in terms of outgoings, I'm like, okay, cool. Arsenal are bringing in some money with the likes of Nketiah, the likes of Smith Rowe and that. But in terms of the incomings, I'm not really seeing them strengthening in certain areas. Yeah. Sterling was an opportunity. That wasn't a plan. They didn't plan to bring in Sterling. That kind of fell in their lap and they brought him in. They didn't go bring in a person like a Nico Williams or like a Neto, who I'm like, whoa. I'm trying to say Sterling, bro, he got dumped from Chelsea. Yeah, and then they've picked him up, and then now they're doing the whole copium thing about Arteta. He's going to transform his life. He's going to change him, and all of these things. They just haven't done enough, like LB is saying, in certain positions. Like if Saka goes out for a few games, Terry, like I've said, it's peak for them, bro. Yeah, he's their most effective attacker. He gets them the most numbers. It is so peak for them if Saka goes down. Yeah, and Odegaard is a very, very big miss, bro. Because if you look at Arsenal and how they play, they normally play off their right. Yeah, and Saka uses Odegaard as a major part in how he plays. That's why for me, when I was talking about England before, I said I need Palmer to start next to Saka because it will replicate what Odegaard does for Saka for Arsenal for England. That's what he would do. And every time you saw Palmer come on, you saw Saka would play a lot better. Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how that dynamic works on that right hand side because Odegaard, he hasn't been great this season. But he is a big miss, bro. And he finished off last season very well. Very, very well. So let's see what they do, innit? Let's see what they do, man. Because that midfield going into the weekend, like you're saying, bro, they're missing Rice. They're missing Odegaard. It's very, very peak for them in that midfield. The way Spurs play, pressing and whatnot, it's gonna be a long afternoon.
You know what it is as well, Daniel. I don't understand about it. Like the Eze was right there, bro. He was right there.
Are they broke? Are they broke, LB? Do you just
no,
think
they're not broke. No. Come on, man. No, this is one of the biggest clubs in the country, one of the biggest clubs in Europe. They're not broke. Yeah, no chance they're broke. The Eze was right there. What was he? 55 mil. What was his release clause?
Around in and around that amount of money.
Even expired as well, I think.
Bro, I just don't understand why they just didn't go and activate that. I think that would have been a great signing. I thought that would have been a great signing for Arsenal. It would have strengthened the creativity in the midfield. You could have played him on the wing if you needed to as well. Maybe you could have played him as a sort of false 9 type situation. You could have got in. And Ivan Toney, could you have convinced him before he decided to go to Saudi? Again, there was rumours, 40 mil, 50 mil. You could have got them two for about 90 million quid. Job done. This is why, like, when I speak about Arsenal, yeah, I kind of get a little bit frustrated in that, yeah, because I'm quite a passionate football fan. I don't speak about City, but I speak about other clubs here. And you know what it is when I speak about Arsenal, and Arsenal fans don't like this, but the reason I get so frustrated with them is because I always feel that they're so close to success, and they never do enough. I feel like it's just in their DNA. And I go all the way back to the time when they could have signed Luis Suarez. Yeah, they could have got Luis Suarez. If they would have signed Luis Suarez that year, they would have won the league, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't even think it's up for debate. When they 2 years ago in January, yeah, when there was ahead of City by like 8 points, again, did they really go out there and go, we have a serious opportunity of winning the league? No, they brought in Trossard, Jorginho, and someone else. They didn't do enough.
They could have. They went from Caicedo to Jorginho.
Yeah, well, last year, bro, again, did they do enough? They went out and signed Rice, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, oh, damn, this team's serious. And then they just sort of faded off. And it's the same again this season. You know, they get Calafiori in, which I've not really seen too much of Calafiori, but, you know, people are telling me it's a good signing. Great. Add that depth in the defense. That's pretty good. You buy this Marino fella who's, you know, is he going to be more of a squad rotation? That's no problem with that. You need squad rotation. And then you actually get Sterling in, who's like a flip of a coin gamble. But where's the serious ambition for an extra 90 million quid, which Arsenal 100% have? They could have got Eze Toney. So then you have either Havertz or you've got the Eze Toney style player, and you still got Jesus. And then go and get Eze. And all of a sudden, their squad depth has exploded up. You know what I mean? They've got a massive squad depth. They've added the quality, added different types of players. And again, I just don't think they're going to win. They're not going to win the league this year. They won't win the Champions League this year because the squad's not big enough. You can't go into the season, yeah, when you're in 4 competitions and have one creative midfielder.
I think listen, boys, I think you both make some really good points. And a few people said to me earlier on today, what's going to be your excuse now if Arsenal don't win the league? So, well, I don't know if you've seen my predictions. I didn't predict them to win the league. So I don't need an excuse because they weren't my, pick to go on and win it. And that's because I just felt I felt that when the 2 signings they made, Calafiori and Marino, if they'd have gone out and got a Gyökeres, gone out and got an Eze Toney, then potentially they could have gone on to win the league. But what has also happened is a little bit of freak bad luck. And that isn't just that they've picked up 3 or 4 injuries. It's 2 of the new signings are out injured, as an example. Declan Rice's red card, yes, by the letter of the law, it was one. But we all know for a fact, I guarantee you people delay restarts in the North London derby and nobody picks up a yellow card. And then you get Odegaard's ankle twist last night. So it isn't just 4 players missing for this game. It's 4 key players and new signings. And sometimes you get bad luck in that way. However, this is now going to be a big, big test, a huge test for this Arsenal squad. And I think not just for the Thomas Partey's and the Jorginhos, but I think, Trossard, there's going to be a bit more pressure on him now. Kai Havertz, there's more pressure to deliver. It isn't just you're there and part of it. But I also think for the young players, this is a really good acid test for the Nwaneries of this world because they're tipped to be very good players who are going to develop. They've cleared out the squad of the likes of the Smith Rowes and the Fabio Vieiras, and they've said, well, and the decision has been, and Dan Potts ain't here to speak for himself, but I don't know if you remember, LB, he was saying he's looking more at Edu and the board than he is the manager for these decisions. Similar to what you just said there, Don. This is where we're going to see whether those decisions are right. Because if Nwaneri comes in for the next 2, 3, 4 games and he's brilliant and Arsenal win, get a good result away at the Etihad, suddenly then the conversation takes another turn. But rarely do you see this early in the season such a big acid test for one of the teams. And I'm, again, with no real dog in the fight, I've already resigned myself to City winning their 5th league title on the bounce. I'm intrigued to see how this goes because I think you're right, Don. The decision-making from Edu and the board in the summer to buy who they did, to limit the spending how they did. Now, there are some reports from Arsenal that it is because they feel they're sailing close to the PSR wind. You've had other financial experts that have come out and said, no, they're not. Interestingly, those same financial experts, when they turn around and say Chelsea have got financial issues, the same people say they're lying and making it up. So I always find it intriguing when people decide to listen to the experts or not. But I'm very intrigued to see how this works out for them as well. What I would say is I don't think their season is over already just because of these injuries. I think some Arsenal fans are massively panicking. I think they're going over the top. Injuries are a normal part of a season. So that's why when I predicted Arsenal to come second this year, I didn't predict this exact sequence of injuries and players missing right now, but it's going to happen. And City will go through a few game periods where Haaland's out, Rodri's out, KDB's got a problem, as an example. It will probably happen, or a combination of that. We know it's going to happen to everybody, and it's how you get through that. And why City are the best, why City win so much, is generally speaking, even when they hit those bumps in the road between the players and the manager, they find a way. Now, this for me, yes, the squad building, look at Edu. I'm now looking at Arteta. I'm now looking at these Arsenal players and saying, how do you persevere through these problematic moments? And for me, I always remember Thomas Tuchel. One of the biggest mistakes he made as Chelsea manager was, do you remember that December a couple of seasons ago, when maybe 3 seasons ago now, where everybody was getting games called off for COVID issues, and they basically scrapped the rule because people were taking the piss. They were almost like pretending they had COVID issues. And Chelsea were the only team that got rejected from not having games off. But Tuchel kind of put out this notion of, got some injuries, everyone else is getting a rest, we're not, this is going to damage us. And I felt that planted a seed in the squad's mind that it was almost okay to lose. There was an excuse. And human beings have this horrible habit of buying into excuses when they're presented to them. So I think what Arsenal fans have got to do, what I think Arteta has got to do, is say, yep, players are out injured, but I do believe in my squad. I do believe in these players, and then put pressure on them to go out there and prove they're good enough. We built this squad. This is our strategy. Go out and do it. And this is where you actually test whether individuals are good enough to take you to that next level. You know, the viewers, the panel, you're all going to have a different view whether or not they're going to get through this next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games unscathed, still in a good position or not. Would love to get your opinions, so make sure you're sending them in to us. We're going to go to a few super chats here. First one says, if Spurs don't get a result, fold the club ASAP. I mean, you said earlier you think, LB, that Arsenal will still win though at the weekend.
Yeah, because Spurs just this is because this type of comment, is just the Spurs type of thing that's to happen. Like, this is just what happens with Spurs. I mean, if you remember back to last year, I seem to remember last year at Spurs played quite well, and then Arsenal was 3-0 up. I'm pretty sure that's how the game went, right? Because I didn't watch long for it. I'm pretty sure Tottenham actually played well, didn't score, and then Arsenal just went up the other end and scored 3 goals. And that probably is what will happen in this game, I imagine. Spurs will probably dominate the ball. They'll start confident because obviously the fans will be supporting the team. They'll probably not score the chances, and Arsenal go at the other end and score off a corner or something like that. So I still think Arsenal will win the game. My point is just.
That's the issue that I have, LB. For me, I'm not looking at the game and saying, Spurs are going to win now. I think Arsenal are still going to put out a decent enough lineup to be able to do something against Spurs, And how Spurs play, bro, it plays into Arsenal's hand. Like what you're saying, when they went away last season, bro, remember they had Saka basically isolated with the fullback every single time. You don't want Saka one-on-one with the fullback because he's just going to cut in and just hit it on his left foot like what he did. We know Spurs are shit from set pieces. They still haven't got a set piece coach. Arsenal are brilliant on set pieces, right? So they could still nick a result from this game, but Spurs won't get a better opportunity to play a weakened Arsenal, bro, because you don't really find Arsenal missing a lot of their main players, right? If his players missing, it's normally guys that don't start anyway. The likes of Jesus, Zinchenko doesn't really start games anymore, right? Now they're missing guys that start week in, week out, bro. So Spurs, Ange, he's got to take the opportunity. If you carry on playing this high line, which we know he will, Arsenal will exploit that, bro. They'll soak up the pressure and they'll do what they did last time. That's where I'm looking at it, and I'm still in two minds. I don't think Spurs are just gonna go and win the game, bro. They still need to they need to sort things out tactically, bro.
Yeah, well, Spurs, Van der Ven, they say he may be back. It's just been announced now that Basuma was taken off during Mali's game with an injury, so Basuma's going to be missing from the football match. And I would say this, I mean, Maddison's been absolutely dog for nearly a year. Solanke may be back, but they still haven't yet solved their goal-scoring issues. And Arsenal will still be very hard to break down and beat. That no one that's picked up an injury yet is part of that solid Arsenal defense, which is why I don't quite understand Arsenal fans absolutely panicking. I get going away to Man City, but let's have it right. You don't win there with your best team. So, and losing away at Man City, and I do understand that losing away at Man City can theoretically cost you a league title, but you didn't win there last year. But I actually think it was other games, like drawing at home to Fulham, that were a much bigger issue than getting a point away from. And you can always do that if you miss out on the league title by a point. But as long as there's more than one game where you drop points, you could pinpoint any one of them. But this game, I still think Arsenal are the favourites. Personally, I still think Arsenal are the favourites, even with these injuries. That Spurs, if you actually look at Spurs' record, maybe someone can Google this for us who's watching, please, and put it in the comment section. You look at their last 30, 35 games. The win ratio is shocking. Yeah, so I just don't think Arsenal should be going into this game panicking. But if their fans do, again, I think you put a message into the dressing room. I think they should still be demanding a win. They're still the superior team. They've still got the better players. I think they've still got the better manager. That's why I don't quite get the overarching panic from some individuals. Especially, I kind of get the City game, but the Spurs match, they should still be walking away from this winners as far as I can see.
No, they should still be. This comes back to what you said before. The manager and the players are just going to have to firm it. Do you know what I mean? They're going to have to go into this game and just be like, yeah, okay, we're missing a couple of big players, but, you know, we're still good enough to win this game. And you know, the City game obviously comes after, and you can speak about that after the Spurs game. But for this Spurs game, yeah, they should be going into Spurs thinking, even without Rice and Odegaard, we can still win this match, because I still think they've got the better team. And, you know, Spurs are just, you know, like, it's just Spurs, man. So I don't expect them to do anything. If they're playing someone else, I'd probably be more worried as an Arsenal fan if I was playing someone like Brentford or someone like that, to be honest with you. Because Spurs, man, the thing is with Spurs, yeah, they're not clinical enough, right? And they will give you opportunities at the back as well, yeah, because of the way that they play football. So I just think that, like, I still think Arsenal will win this game. I really do. By hook or crook, they'll get the win. Then obviously the City game is a little different, but yeah, like, for me, the major issue here is just the fact that you are in this position in match day 4. And I hear what you're saying about this is a bit of a freak or whatever, but it's not that much of a freak when we all predicted that this was an issue, because you only go into the season with one creative midfielder. Mm-hmm. You can't then call that a freak when you choose to do that as a football club. You know, you're not telling me that there was no creative midfielder out there that you couldn't have got just to back Odegaard up to take the pressure off him. You don't have to go, if you didn't want to spend the money on Eze, go and get someone else. There's probably someone else that you could have got out there. Probably like someone who's a bit older, who just wants to wind down the career. That for me is where I think it's a bit weird.
Well, let's see how good their squad is. You know, let's see how good their manager is, because Arteta gets paid a lot of money. Yeah, and if you're getting paid all that money, when it comes to adversity like this, bro, like Terry was saying, you've got to be able to problem solve, bruv. Yeah, and work out how to get out on the other end. Because if they beat Spurs, and let's say they beat Spurs convincingly at the weekend, yeah, well, actually they'll take whatever win, however win they get it at the weekend, right? 100%. That will give them a lot more belief before they actually play Man City, and again that will help the fans ease up a little bit, because right now, Arsenal fans, bro, remember when they played Bayern Munich, Terry, in the first half of the Champions League, right? They were scared, and it was affecting the team as well. And Arsenal fans, until they get over the line, they're always going to have that PTSD, right? So Arteta needs to make sure that he problem solves this weekend, bro.
I like what you've said there, because it feeds into this comment from Campbell that says, Terry, the panic comes from the fact Arteta has been here 5 years and won nothing with his squad. Slight play on words. He has won an FA Cup, but okay. Key players are going into final 2 years and haven't won anything. Seen this before. RVP, Fab, Adebayor. I understand this, and I understand the PTSD. However, how you stop PTSD, one method of doing it, and I can speak from personal experience, is you have to make a change yourself. You have to do something physical yourself, like literal yourself. And when I was suffering from all the anxiety I had about thinking I was having a heart attack, one of the first steps I was taught to stop doing was putting my fingers on my neck to check my pulse, or putting my hand on my chest when I felt the pain, because it's like a reassurance. And the more you reassure yourself when you're going through the early stages of the panic, you basically reset the cycle when you start again. So what Arsenal fans have maybe got to do this time round, even if you feel, oh my God, the same thing could happen again, maybe what you should do is not panic, stay positive, push out positive energy. And the reason I say that is this: the last time round, you pushed out negative energy. I get why. I've been there and done it myself. I'm not judging, but it didn't work, did it? think what you did last time as fans when you felt this way. Did it lead to success for your team? If the answer's no, go about it in a different way. I understand this notion that Real Madrid fans wouldn't behave this way, but I keep saying this to Arsenal. People think I glaze them all the time, but I think you're not Real Madrid. And you're about 50 or 60 years away from continued success before you are Real Madrid. So stop trying to act like them at this particular juncture. For me, I think you need to break that PTSD cycle by doing something different, helping your team, because I don't think panicking at this stage is going to help you. Just my opinion, for what it is worth.
Can I throw something out there? Because I have a theory, just a theory. I think part of this is coming down to the fact that I think a lot of people are saying now that it's for Arteta and for Arsenal, it's sort of like put up or shut up time. Yeah, this is what it's his 5th year. He spent 750, 800 million quid. Yeah, so he spent a lot of money. He's finished second twice. He's won 1 FA Cup, and that was with Emery's team, not his own team. And now this is the time, really, when Arsenal need to be winning trophies. Because the Arsenal that I knew when I was growing up, was an Arsenal team that won trophies and done a madness when they did the Invincibles. Arsenal can't continue to just finish second and go, we'll just keep putting the pressure on. And this is his 5th year. We're not in his 2nd year. He's 30. This is his 5th year. He needs to win something. So I think when you get into a situation where, it is his 5th year, and even Arsenal fans who are mad positive are saying, if Arteta don't win anything this year, we might have to move him on. And then within 3 weeks of the league starting, you've got a midfield crisis. Maybe that's where a lot of this energy is coming from. And maybe this is where a lot of this negativity or frustration is coming from, because maybe they're starting to realize, some of these more positive fans, that, you know what, this is 5 years into the process. We've already got a crisis after match day 3. Maybe this isn't going to work. I'm just throwing it out there, man, because at the end of the day, they need to win something,
But it's a great point. But I think that's only from people that are scared of being wrong about Arteta. And again, Arsenal fans, a bit like Man United fans, and I think we both go through this because, unlike the rest of you, in most of our lifetimes, we've seen a manager stay at a club for a quarter of a century. And I think both our fan bases are still obsessed. Igawa said it on here. Yeah, but if we get rid of Arteta, we have to rebuild the whole club again because it's been built in his image. I don't believe it has. I don't think this kind of put up or shut up. I think it's purely for Arteta. I think the new manager comes in. You don't need to overhaul the squad. All you've got to do is add a few more players to it.
I agree. I agree with exactly what you're saying.
So I agree. I agree with you as well, LB. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the only people panicking are the people that have kind of built up this image that without Arteta, we wouldn't even be here. Partly because he has helped coach the team to where you are. But I don't think Arsenal lives or dies by Arteta staying.
No, of course they don't.
Sorry, mate, go on.
So no, because you spot on. But the problem is, I think with some Arsenal fans, don't want to go back to the banter days, because for the last decade before Arteta come in, they was the banter club of this country. And what they've been able to do, because we've had this conversation, I know you've had it on the terrace a lot of times, is we've asked this question to Arsenal fans so many times, is at what point does Arteta need to win? At what point do you say enough's enough? And I think we're at that. That's the point I'm making. I think we're getting to that juncture now in his career that if he doesn't win anything this year, is that the time that he has to be moved on?
It's a long time,
it is
a long time. You know, in England, you're in year 7 to year 11 for 5 years. That's how long this guy's nearly been at Arsenal, bruv.
Yeah. People have started school and left. Well, actually, you got to stay till you're 18 now, haven't you? Like, I'm old. Yeah. We left at 16. But yeah, people have pretty much done high school, and I agree completely. But this is why I've said for a long time. People go, "Well, Terry, I thought you said Arsenal was scary." Nothing changes about what I've said about Arsenal if the manager leaves. I think a new coach comes in and they continue to be a very good side, as long as they have genuinely rebuilt the club. As everybody stated, because it's a club. I think it's a club project. I don't think it's an Arteta project. Arteta is a coach who suits what they're trying to do. So I don't feel that it's the end of the world. And look, 2 seasons ago, or the beginning of 2 seasons ago, when I predicted Arsenal becoming everything I predicted about Arsenal, barring changing my mind mid-season that they would go on to win the league when they're 8 points clear, everything else has come to fruition. I just said they would become title contenders. I said they'd be a dangerous team. We know they're a dangerous team because because of these injuries, people are writing them out of the title race in the first few games, which means they predicted they were in the title race at the beginning of the season. And Arsenal 2 years ago, you would have been laughed at for saying they were going to be in the title race. Now, after a few injuries, you're saying, oh, they might not be in it this year, which shows you how far they've grown. But I do think these Arteta fans need to realize that I don't believe Arteta's been great for you in certain areas. I think he's been instrumental in part of your rebuild, but I don't think you necessarily 100% need him to get over the line. The squad and the club will be able to move forward without him. Sometimes this happens in life. And by the way, I think he's actually been more successful for you than Brendan Rodgers was for Liverpool thus far. But look at that. I remember some Liverpool fans, good friends of mine, fuming. Oh, Rodgers nearly won us the league a year or so ago. Let's give him time. Do you think any of them now regret saying that after Klopp came in and took that project to another level? And that is what I think Arsenal fans have got to be aware of here. And yeah, I think that's what the panic comes from, LB. I think you're right. I think it's almost a case of, I've backed the manager so much, I'm worried about it going wrong. Don't be. You know, it's the same as all the people that don't think Arteta's good enough. Like, genuinely, there'll be a bit of banter if he goes on to win the league. But so what if an Arsenal fan isn't right about that prediction? You let it go. It's crazy to me.
You know, obviously last year there was a bit of context. There's always context in football when it comes to situations, yeah. But now we're talking about a manager that's going into his 5th year with the team that he's built, right? Obviously, Arsenal fans will tell me, yeah, he won the FA Cup, but that wasn't this team that he's built, yeah? If you think about it, bro, he hasn't got into a semi-final with this team that he's built, yeah? He's obviously finished 2nd in the league. He hasn't won anything with these guys. Is there still going to be any sort of context come the end of the season, bro, if he doesn't win it?
No.
Is there still going to be any sort of... Are we still going to keep doing the context thing with Arteta?
No. We won't. Because we're not emotionally invested in Arsenal Football Club because we're not Arsenal fans. But this is what I'm saying, bro. I think there's some Arsenal fans who are worried that if they get rid of Arteta, yeah, they might go back down.
They might, and I get that,
which is possible because if you replace the manager, you're either going to stay the same, go up, or go down. There's a risk that you might get worse. But I think Arsenal fans need to realise, and I say this in a non-patronising way, I'm being deadly serious, is you're not going to go back down to being a banter club because your club has been built up properly now. You are here. You are now Arsenal. You're not here to hold Arteta's hand. If you get rid of him, you might drop to 3rd or 4th. You're not going to go back to being 7th or 8th. That team is far too good for that.
And even if, let's just say, comes to the end of the season, let's just paint a hypothetical picture. Arteta says, I love this club. I've tried my best. I don't think I'm ready. I need to go somewhere else. And he leaves. So he hasn't been sacked. Maybe the next guy that comes in does take you backwards. It does an awful job. But you could be 5 months in and then replace him and then go on and do well. Clubs with good, solid structures, as I believe you've built, as you've all told us you've built, we've seen Bayern Munich in their pomp do this. Start a season badly, sack a manager, and go on to win the league that year. That is a space. I don't believe if you get rid of Arteta, you are going to become an 8th, 6th, 8th team again because of a coach. Because I don't think you're built in the image of a coach. And Ted Lasso here, I love these comments. It says, hypocrite Terry. Liverpool will fall when Klopp leaves. How wrong was he? That isn't what I said, though, is it? I said there's the potential to fall slightly because Jurgen Klopp is in that category of great managers. Okay. What I never said would happen is Liverpool would fall off the edge of planet Earth and become an average mid-table team again because FFG and Edwards have built a structure. So again, Ted Lasso, you're lying. The same with Man City. A lot of City fans have called me out for this recently. If and when Pep leaves, there'll be a drop-off from Pep standards because there is no manager currently managing in the world that is as good as him. He is a different level to every other manager, especially in the league, that is currently active. But the drop-off will only be significant enough where you're still in title races. You just may not be almost immortal, but you're still going to be a title-challenging, Champions League challenging, multiple trophy challenging team because the club structure is built in that way. The same as Real Madrid's, the same as Bayern Munich's, the same as the likes of Ajax on a smaller scale with less money in smaller leagues in the modern day era. I have never said that the fall off from Liverpool and City without those managers is going to make them 6th place, 7th place. Maybe the next coach isn't quite good enough. and they are in a top 4 race year one, but you're never going to see years and years and years of mediocrity. Man United's issue in the last decade hasn't been the managers per se. It's been the structure. Arsenal, up until this rebuild that's involved Edu and Arteta, was all to do with the structure at the club being wrong. Keeping the wrong coach as well was part of it. But this is the problem with a lot of football fans, is they don't actually listen. They hear you might drop off a little bit. I ain't listening no more. My ears become blocked up. Cognitive dissonance kicks in, and they start saying stupid things like this. So you've honestly, Ted Lasso, and that's not your real name, brother, but I hope your girlfriend ain't watching with you, because she will be leaving right now. She'll be on the phone to somebody else saying, can I come and coach at your house, brother? Because she's embarrassed of you now with that one, mate. But there we go. This here from Sid G says, I wonder if LB and Don will have the same chest if they lost Haaland and Rodri to injury, or Palmer gets injured like Odegaard.
I said, big yourself up, bro, because I'm so happy you've said this. I'm so happy you've said this. This just proves the point that I was making to Terry when I spoke about my prediction. People kept telling me, oh, you can say that for any team. I said, bro, that's the reality, bro. If we lose our main players, we will not challenge. Same thing as Arsenal. They lose Saka, they lose Odegaard for an extended period of time. They will not challenge, bro. Simple as that, because they're your best players. You need them to challenge. Yeah, I ain't got chest. I ain't got chest if those guys are missing. You know what I'm saying? No way. I haven't even got chest without a striker, bro.
Yeah. And don't compare, Arteta and your current 11 to my team, please. You know what I mean? We had no KDB for 6 months. Yeah, we've won this league without a striker. Rodri's not kicked a ball yet in the Premier League. Bro, you ain't like us, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, City's the last team to be using that example for. I can't lie. They've proven numerous times they can deal with situations like that.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, bro. The fact is, yeah, your club, Sid, I imagine that you're an Arsenal fan, yeah, because you're sending in the message. Your club decided to go into a season, yeah, with 4 competitions with 1 attacking midfielder. Why don't you call that out? Instead of sitting here sending us your money, try to cook me and Don, yeah, why don't you cook your club for going into a season and only having 1 attacking midfielder?
He's asking me for mercy. LB, he's asking me for mercy. Bro, you wasn't giving me no mercy last season when I turned up at the Emirates with no Cole Palmer and no Gusto, bro. You didn't give me no mercy then. When I was missing so many players that day, bro. You didn't give me no fucking mercy then. Why should I give you mercy now? That's on Edu for not buying, players in reserve, bro. Not us.
Yeah. That's...
Arsenal laughed at Chelsea's depth. Now look at yours. Do you know what I will say? This isn't on most Arsenal fans, but I do think there's a few Arsenal fans out there, and I'm talking about the likes of Matt, who are probably sitting there right now regretting their decisions, because when they were laughing and mocking Man United a few weeks ago when Lenny Yoro got injured, I always use this. It's not really a phrase, but I just say, football gods. The football gods punish you for wicked, nasty, cruel behavior, and I believe it. My dad pumped it into our head as kids. If like we were watching it as kids, you know what you like as a kid. You're not as grown up. Maybe like a Liverpool player gets injured, I'd be like, one of my brothers. And my dad would go, a United player is going to get injured in the next couple of weeks now. You've upset the football gods. And it would always happen. It would always happen. Whenever my team hasn't played at a weekend, until we kick off or win the game, I don't mock anybody else for losing. I feel like I'm going to tempt fate. And there are some Arsenal fans out there that are hiding right now.
Bro, when I remember when Palmer was ill, against these guys at the Emirates, they were celebrating, Terry. They were celebrating, bro. I said, yo, you don't need to take time, because I'm gonna remember this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna remember this. Don't find yourself in the top 4 battle this year, Gunas. I'm telling you. Don't find yourself in the top 4 battle this year,
LB, wasn't you one of the City fans who said you'd take Arteta as a replacement for Pep? If so, is this still the case?
No, I don't think I've ever said that. I don't really like
it. I think LB wanted De Zerbi. You wanted De Zerbi, innit?
No, they want De Zerbi. What?
Who was it that you're looking at, bro? You lot were looking at De Zerbi last season.
Nah, we're probably going to get this Girona guy, innit? Let's be real. Girona, Alonso, or maybe company.
Well, it'd be Girona guy. Yeah, don't have to pay any compensation then, do you? It's all free, isn't it?
Brown envelopes, bro. Yeah, I mean, we got that subscription of brown envelopes from Amazon, man.
I know I've seen all the emails. I've seen all the leaks. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Do you know your case that's coming up? I really wish they'd OJ this and televise it. I think it'd make amazing. I'd
be
love
real, bro. I'd be live every day,
what?
just doing 8-hour streams.
Yeah,
I'd have to pay a lawyer. I'd have to pay a lawyer to sit there with me and explain everything that they're talking about, bro.
Well, yeah, you and Nobbins is a lawyer. You and Nobbins sit there, 8-hour live stream. It's I think personally, I think they should almost do that. That way, I don't know. I'd like to. For me, I'm so invested in it. I think it's talking to someone about it yesterday. It literally is the biggest off-field news in English football history, in my opinion. It really, because it's either the worst witch hunt ever, which will disgrace and hurt the Premier League, or it's the biggest allegation of cheating ever. Either way, it should be televised. The football world should get to see it. It'd be amazing. Honestly, you could dramatize it.
I think it'd be class, man.
See, I was thinking Ant and Deck to host it. Like to be the host in the morning.
Get fucking Oasis to host it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you can't be Oasis. They were too biased. Ant and Deck to host it. You could have like Chunks and the guy who's doing like Vox Box outside. Do you know what I mean? You could make it a spectacle. Do you know what I mean? Like get I'm looking forward to, get the little artists to draw the pictures of everybody I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
It would be class, man. I'll back it. I love it to be online or televised, man.
Well, do you know what? I think if it was online and every day there was a download, I remember watching quite closely I know it's a completely different set of circumstances, but Oscar Pistorius. And it was quite nice watching it throughout. I say quite nice watching it. It was a horrific situation. What I mean by nice is from an understanding point of view, is you could listen to it live. And then on the 24-hour news outlets that had it on, as you say, you had experts that were then explaining what things meant. So you could kind of follow it and have an understanding. And it wasn't just about like agreeing or disagreeing with the verdicts and then reading a report in a newspaper. You kind of got, and I don't know, if you're invested in a subject matter, I think it's really nice to see it. But that shit is being locked down. The Prem don't want it out there. Man City don't want it out there. It's a shame, really, because I would love it to be open and public. I really, really would. It'd be amazing. You're both right. Our club has fucked up by not signing a creative midfielder or even keeping Smith Rowe or Vieira. Either way, Don is still a prime Don waffle mode.
Big yourself up, Tony, man.
Chelsea won 2 Champions League after sacking their managers.
Yeah,
it's true. So can I ask you a question about that? Because you sacked managers and then 2 other people. So if Arteta's FA Cup is really Emery's, does that mean that Thomas Tuchel's Champions League is actually Frank Lampard's?
Yeah.
You asking me or TM?
You.
TM's not here to respond. We're just going to sit here for 10 minutes and wait for another super chat, bro. What do you mean?
I thought you wanted this guy to send another super chat, bro.
Oh, we just sit here in silence and wait for TM to send another super chat, bro. How long have you done YouTube for, man? This guy new to the YouTube scene or what? We'll just all sit here.
Oh, my God.
No, it's sequels. Of course it's sequels, bro.
Okay. I'm just putting it out there because if Arteta's isn't really his because it's Emery's squad, it means a lot of managers that will lose trophy. I'm just throwing it out there. It's a great question. That was brilliant, bro. The way you were loading, I could hear. You remember old dial-up internet? I could just hear it in your head.
Well, yeah, bro. No one expected Lampard to go win the Champions League that year, bro. If you said Chelsea have got a chance of winning it, you were crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy to say that.
Yeah, but I think if you'd have asked in November, do you think Unai Emery's Arsenal team could have won the FA Cup? Everybody said you were crazy. You could use that logic. I'm just saying. This is why I always say to people, when you want to take trophies or achievements away from people, you've got to look at your own club and make sure you're not undoing any of your own.
Yeah. No, I'm not. By the way, just to clarify, I'm not saying that
what
he didn't win that. I'm just saying that he then took that team, built his own team, and since then he's had his own team. He's not won anything. Hence why he needs to win something now, isn't it? Still his trophy.
No, I agree. LB, Arsenal did have an attacking midfielder last season for Odegaard, the mighty Fabio Vieira. They had healthy all season to lose to an injured City.
Yeah, well, this is the point, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't start the same super chat before. You know what I mean? You lost Vieira, you lost Smith Rowe, and you've not got anyone creative in there. Like I say, you're not telling me there wasn't someone out there, even at like 15, 20 mil, that can just come in and just step in for those Carabao Cup games, can come off the bench for the last 20 minutes when Odegaard needs a rest. Like, the fact that you've got no one other than Nwaneri, who's played 14 minutes for Arsenal, I believe, again, that's just like not really fair on him, is it? You know what I mean? Because if he comes in now and drops a stinker, then everyone's going to be cooking him, and it's just like, yeah, this is why I just think it's mad. You know, it's mad.
It is, man.
So I'm just time stamping when Don froze. KJ, clip it up. Get it clipped. Get it clipped. So that football club guy can do a video on it. Arsenal in the same spot as Poch was with Spurs. I mean, yeah, one trophy though. He had got one trophy. I don't think we can ignore that, but similar. Sid is back with us again here. He says, point noted, guys, but about the club being responsible for no depth in
attacking mid.
Attacking mid. There we go. I believe scoring 91 goals last season proved that we needed more defense than attackers, conceding less than you score.
How many more?
I think, yeah. I mean, look, this is the irony in this. If if Sterling delivers, if Arsenal get Man City Sterling, again, this could change a lot of these conversations. I think the reason why the Sterling signing isn't getting a lot of praise is because it wasn't, if all summer Arsenal wanted him, I think the feeling would be different. But if it was Gyökeres that came in on the deadline day and not Sterling, I think people would say, wow, Arsenal could kill it. This is the player they wanted. But if Sterling does deliver, again, that could be literally a game changer for them. But it
could be, but we have absolutely no idea whether it's going to work out, because in my view, I think it's been 2019 since he delivered a full season of actual good performances. So listen, if it comes off unreal, they're paying 150 grand a week, whatever it is. You know what I mean? They've got him on a loan, great business, yeah. But I don't think he's performed well for a whole season since 2019. 5 years ago, man.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. I think that's why, as you say, that's why people are buffering like Don was 5 minutes ago. Like it's everyone's they're not sure. Edu left Arteta short. So frustrating watching the club consistently disappoint fans. Don't see us winning the league, maybe a Carabao Cup. But you know, that's what's important though. This is why if last season you won the Carabao Cup, season before that the FA Cup, there'd be more credit in the bank to kind of get you through. And that's why it's important. It's why when I hear people say, oh, you want a Karabuki Cup, Terry, and that someone said earlier on in the stream, I didn't bookmark it, but Terry, neither of your clubs are going to win a trophy this year, guaranteed. Well, Man United were bad the last 2 years and we won 2 trophies. So I wouldn't write us off just yet from winning trophies. No matter how bad we look, we can win trophies. But the thing is that all these smaller trophies, little trophies matter in the grand scheme of things when you put a body of work together. So they shouldn't be written off at any point. We can absolutely get 2 draws in the next 3 games and hopefully have Odegaard back by then. We still have Arteta haram ball.
No, 100%. And Abraham, yeah, I think you'll beat Spurs. I think you're going to beat them. My point is not on the Spurs game, because I think you're going to win anyway. My point is how have you gone into a season with one attacking midfielder? I think that's gross negligence, bro. Yeah, someone needs to be held accountable for this. Whether it's Edu, maybe Edu found the players and Arteta went, you know what, I don't need anyone. Then it's on Arteta. Unfortunately, as football fans, we'll never really know unless Arteta comes out in a press conference and basically does a madness and says, I wanted one, and he said no. We'll never really know who's to blame.
So looking at Arsenal's midfielders, to put it out there. So the midfielders are Thomas Partey, Jorginho, Marino, Havertz, Rice, and then Odegaard.
Havertz is a striker, though, isn't it? Havertz is a striker.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's on their website as a midfielder. So I'm just looking at their midfielder. Yeah. Their front men are in there. Obviously, the likes of Nwaneri are not on the first team squad websites. You've got him to add in. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal fans, I don't know, because I know there's a lot of rumors out there. Maybe this is a great time for me to spell this myth. I'm not an Arsenal fan. Who are your academy players that are attacking midfielders? Just out of interest, I know Nwaneri can kind of play a forward role. Is that it? Genuinely would love.
They're going to mention there's a guy that's like 14, 15. I think his name's George or something like that.
14.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to mention someone like that.
They better be careful because Clearlake will sweep that prick up. They'll be out there. You know the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. They'll be outside the Emirates with a net, bruv. We need that. We need that kid.
Yeah, Dalman, that's it. Dalman, that guy, he looks like a baller,
but he's FC.
Dalman, that guy, he looks good, but he's young, man.
I love it, Dalman, but he's 14. You can't be really.
Well, I did a video last night. I did a video last night on my channel. Yeah, I titled it like Arsenal crisis or something like that. Yeah, and people said it's not a crisis, and we got playing about this 14-year-old academy player potentially coming in to start because Odegaard's not here. Yeah, I never heard of this guy, and I'm being told it's not a crisis. What the hell is going on, man?
Do you know what's really scary about these young players? I am legitimately old enough to be their dad, and I'm not talking about at school teenage pregnancy. I'm talking about being a man, and these players could be my kids. That is what's crazy. I'm getting old, man. Yeah. They're 14. I don't know who he is. He might be really, really good, but I ain't never heard of him.
He's a baller. He looks like a baller.
Probably Havertz and Trossard. I mean, yeah, you're probably going to play Trossard in a more 10. That makes more sense. You don't want to put Havertz back into the middle. It doesn't work. No. Keep him as the 9 because he's scoring goals. I would do it. Martinelli, Trossard, Zinni. The problem you have, suppose you got Sterling. But who do you bring from the bench? Like bringing players. It's when I look at Man United. Sometimes I don't mind their lineup today. And then I look at the bench, who's coming on, tired legs, 20 minutes to go. And I go, shit. Anthony. Do you know what I mean? You don't need that. Arteta, Pep's number 2 at City and on the league table is what Avram Glazer says here. Arsenal can spend money. This narrative about PSR and they can't is pure PR by the club. Elise can play right wing and 10 and only 45 million. It's a deal like that. Yeah, I don't think you've got... I mean, I'm only going by what the media have said. I agree with you. What I would say about Eze, though, and I would say about Toney, I'm a big fan of both. I'm gutted Man United didn't buy Toney. But if I suddenly become dispassionate for a moment and drop my own bias, the fact no one came in for either, that is a red flag to me. That is, you know when you meet a guy that's like 35, oh yeah, I'm a businessman, got a nice car, where'd you live? My mum's house. Ding, ding, red flag, right? You get a red flag. It's, why? What did you do? Why are you there? No offense to anybody that's 35 living at home. I just need to know why. Especially if, you're on a dating app, women always say it's a red flag. The fact no one came in for those 2 players, an alarm bell goes off just to say, oh, I wonder why. What are we as football fans not seeing that the professionals are? So, yeah, I think Eze is great, and they should have gone for him. Seriously, top clubs practice on how to play other formations. Does it have to be a 4-2-3-1? Why can't it be a 4-4-2 or 5 in the back? Do they work on that?
I don't think they work on like changing the back line because your back line needs to be solid. You know what I mean? So I don't think managers really coach 4 at the back and then a 5 at the back. I think they just keep it as 1. And then the other stuff like the midfield and the attack, they could maybe play around with. I mean, what I do, I agree with that super chat before. If it was me, I'd play Partey's fit, yeah?
Yeah, it's fit.
Yeah.
So I'd play Partey, Jorginho, yeah, protect the defense, play Trossard in the attacking mid-row, and then obviously Saka, Havertz.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1. That's changing.
But your defense is still solid. And I'd probably have to play counter-attacking football, man, and just absorb the pressure. You know, Spurs are not clinical anyway. I'd just sit back. They did dish that last year at Tottenham. They sat back. Tottenham played quite well, didn't score. Arsenal went up the other end, bang, 3-0. You know what I mean?
This is the thing, though, right? An Arsenal midfield of Jorginho in the 6, Partey kind of playing an 8 role because he hasn't got the legs he wants to have, but he can get up and down a little bit better, and he's good. He's decent going forward, can score. And Trossard is still better than the Tottenham midfield. So this is why I don't get the panic for the Tottenham game.
What's the defensive?
Who's their options in midfield right now for Spurs? Obviously, Bissouma's injured.
Bissouma's injured, so they've got Maddison is their 10. It looks good, but he's one of those weirdos that looks good. Well, not weirdos, weird footballers who look
power
really
league
good.
player, bro. He's a power league player, mate.
Yeah, he's an ITS Merchant's wet dream, mate.
No, but let's not act like he hasn't been effective before, people. I know he's on bad form right now, but he has been effective. He has shown that he can be effective as well.
Stop being reasonable.
You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Stop being reasonable, bro.
Because I know Terry. I know Terry's. Yeah, but he looks good on the ball. What's he doing, bro? Madison
what's he doing?
He has put up numbers before.
He ain't put up numbers in 12 months. 12 months, no numbers. Get out.
He's got 2
Get
assists.
out.
He's got 2 assists already this season in 3 games. So maybe he's turned the corner.
Yeah, but his performance. But I'm listen. I'm not even. Forget me. I'm going by the Spurs fans that come on the TFT. They're like, get this guy away. So let's look. Oh, why do Spurs? Why do you do your squad listing in order number rather than position? Who they got there? So they've got Archie. They've got Archie Gray, Madison. They've got bloody hell, it's so hard.
What about that Sarr fella? Is he still there? I like
Sarr's, yeah, Sarr will start. Sarr will start the game. They've got Bentancur that can play. So they've got Bentancur. They've got 2 kids, Bentancur and Sarr. I think Arsenal's midfield is better. Even with the injuries.
But I look at Spurs and they look more balanced though on paper. Like they've got more balanced options. If Arteta wants to go over 4-2-3-1, I think he'll get more balance out of the team. If he plays a 4-3-3, that's when it's a bit of a problem. But I don't see Arteta changing the shape.
I think it will.
The thing is though, when they play 4-3-3, this is why I don't think it matters. When they play 4-3-3, if you look at the heat map of Odegaard and then compare it to Man United, Bruno, when we play 4-2-3-1 or City's, you look at KDB, you look at Bruno, you look at Odegaard, they pretty much pick up the ball and touch the ball in all the same places. So I don't think there's a huge difference between 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3. I think it depends upon a player's instructions. And Odegaard plays as an attacking midfielder. He doesn't really play as an 8. Now, he does come back and defend at times, but so does Bruno that plays number 10. So I don't think it matters which of those 2 they play. I get what you're saying. I think on paper, I think in reality, whether fully fit or injured, I don't think Spurs' midfield gets anywhere near Tottenham's, anywhere near it at all. Again, Madison, he's decent. You know, Sarr's good. Sarr's their best midfield player. I think Sarr, overall, I think he's their best midfield player. I think he's really good. But I wouldn't be panicking if I was an Arsenal fan.
If I'm Spurs, I'm honestly looking at the options that I've got and I'm saying, we have to dominate that midfield, bro. Yeah, we can actually put our balanced midfield. Yeah, they might not be your best players, Terry, but at least they add a little bit more balance, right? And that's the focus I'm focusing on to kill Arsenal, bro. That midfield.
I hear you. If they do them, they do them. A team for Spurs would be Raya, White, Gabriel, Saliba, Tim, Jorginho, Waneri, Trossard, Saka, Havertz. Do you know what's good about that lineup though? Is you've still got the likes of Martinelli and Sterling that can come from the bench. Yeah. And maybe you want to have that explosive power, especially if you're leading. It depends on how you feel it's going to go. If you're winning 1-0 and you can bring Sterling and Martinelli on for the last 20 minutes on the counter, that could be really potent. But I like Waneri. I think there's a really good player in there, but I think he needs an acid test.
He ain't gonna play Nwaneri, man. He's played 14 minutes for us. You're not gonna throw him into Spurs away, is he? When you need to get a result, there's no way, man. Listen, I'd like to see you play. I think that as a neutral, I'm like play Nwaneri.
I've seen Sir Alex Ferguson do it in his pomp, and I'm not comparing the 2 managers. I've seen managers in seasons that they've won league titles throw in young players in precarious situations. You know, we did it last year. Obviously, we didn't win the league, but throwing in Mainu like pretty much to play away at Liverpool in one of his first games and never really kicked the ball at professional level.
100%.
I think sometimes it's a good thing to do.
No, it is a good thing to do, but I just don't think he's going to do that. He'll play.
No,
I think he'll play
Trossard.
Trossard. I think he'll play Trossard in the middle.
That's a fair point.
That's it. I won't believe Arteta does it until he shows me he will do it, right? Because he just doesn't trust these young kids, bro. I like Nwaneri. I rate him. I think it's very good.
Moving on from Arsenal, Chelsea have been in the news a lot the last few days, and a little bit like you were saying, LB.
That's 3 years. What you're about? Days?
True. It's just keeping up with Chelsea, bro. Honestly, keeping up with Chelsea, bro.
It should be, again, if it was a reality show, again, these clubs need to realize they could make proper reality shows out of their clubs. Show us warts and all. Do you know the money they would make? It's like all that all or nothing nonsense, right? They are the worst shows ever because the Spurs one exposed it because we were all looking forward to, we get to see Poch sacked, we get to see Jose sacked. None of it was on it. Nothing was there. It's rubbish, but it's been it's really interesting because when it all broke about the ownership thing, a lot like you were saying, LB, when it came to you getting stick from Gooners when you said they're in an injury crisis. No, it isn't a crisis. And you're like, yes, it is. I got Chelsea fans come at me doing full-on Will Smiths, keep my club out your effing mouth. This ain't even news, Terry. Some Chelsea fans even tried to tell me, we've all been knowing about this forever. And I'm like, where are these secret underground Chelsea chat rooms where this is being discussed? Because I think you're lying. In the last few days, most Chelsea fans seemingly look like they're siding with Todd Boehly in terms of Todd Boehly's plan sounds the best. A mixture of buying young and developing, building a new stadium, but buying some star players for the first team. However, the reports have stated today from the Times that insiders consider the purchase of Todd Boehly's stake as the most likely outcome at Chelsea. Clearlake Capital are backed by a £90 billion fund they control, as well as personal billionaires of Odegaard. How do you feel about this, Don? Because the Chelsea consensus that I've read online is they want Todd Boehly, but it looks like Clearlake, who now that all the truth's coming out about just buying young, the wage caps, etc., it seems that they are more the problem than Todd Boehly has been. Where's your head at with this? And do you feel that if Clearlake stay, Chelsea could be in trouble in the medium to long term?
Bro, I think people are coming to conclusions without knowing all the facts, in all honesty, because as much as I like Todd Boehly's ambition, that's why I wanted obviously Todd Boehly and Clearlake to come in, because out of all the options that we had at the time, he looked, very ambitious. You're speaking about the Dodgers, everything that he won with them, the fact that he's always going for big names and, spending all this money and whatnot. I said, yeah, this is a guy that obviously doesn't know much about football, but bring him in because he seems really ambitious, right? But at the same time, we need footballing people behind him. But people seem to forget that when Todd Boehly was running about by himself, he was trying to get CR7. He fucking gave Fofana over 200k a week when Fofana just came from a big injury. Yeah, paid over 70 million for the guy, right? He brought in Raheem Sterling on 325 a week, as if Sterling was performing on a mad one at Man City. Yeah, he gave Chani Chukwuemeka 100k a week, right? So there's so many mistakes that he made in that first summer because there wasn't anyone next to him that was making these footballing decisions for him. That's why he was asking Tuchel to help him, and Tuchel was like, "Bro, I don't want to be doing this. I just want to coach." You know what I'm trying to say? So he's made problems on that front. But Todd Boehly hasn't been involved in any of the recruitment now for over a year. That's why when people are like, oh, Todd Boehly doesn't know what he's doing, I'm like, bro, it's been Clearlake that have been doing all these things in terms of the young players, in terms of, flipping all these players globally that are coming in to make a profit. And when people are saying, oh, Clearlake, they're only going to look at young players and that, bro, if you look at Olise, for example, he's young, but he's an established young player that was looking at. You can look at him as like a superstar, for example. We're just chasing Osimhen, we went and bought Caicedo. We went and bought Enzo, right? We've brought in some top young players that Todd Boehly would also be looking at, right? But the problem that people have is they've made up their mind about Clearlake. Clearlake can't do no right, and they can't give them any credit, even though they've done some good things, right? For me, Todd Boehly's made some mistakes, and Clearlake have also made some mistakes. The main thing for me is that whoever's in charge, they need footballing people behind them, bro. I can't have Todd Boehly running about in Portugal, in Spain, and that with his little briefcase, making things happen, trying to make deals happen. And the same thing as Iqbali. I can't have Iqbali making every single decision and basically micromanaging because he hasn't been involved in football long. Hire the people that know what they're doing and just kind of oversee it. That's what I want to be seeing, right? But I'm not taking any sides at the moment, bro, because they've both got positives and they've both got negatives. What I want is a fine balance. If Clearlake stay, I don't want them to be, completely, against giving the best players, the money that they deserve. Yeah. For example, like with Osimhen, I don't think he was worth 300k a week, Terry. But if we're trying to get in, let's say Musiala, for example, I want to pay whatever for someone like that. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So it's all about being flexible and again, still wanting to sort out the first team if you're going to bring in these young players that you're trying to flip for profit. I'm all about having a balance of the two. You know what I'm saying? Whereas people are like picking this side and picking that side, bro. They've both made mistakes, both of them. So I don't know how people can be coming to such full-blown conclusions, to be honest with you.
How do you see it, LB? I mean, quite a few people that have sort of spoken about this in the last few days have kind of drawn a conclusion based on what we're now hearing, that both sides of the fence have been pulling in different directions, have different ideas, want a different identity for Chelsea. Maybe this now explains why the squad has had so much money spent on it, but still doesn't look complete. Maybe this explains the lack of success in the last 2 years. I think maybe it brings it all to a little bit of fruition. do you see this getting resolved quickly? And do you think this could damage the season ahead if there is uncertainty at the heart of the club in the boardroom?
Well, it explains a lot. It explains why they've been ran badly because, it sounds to me from what I've read that, these guys have been clashing from early on, you know what I mean, in terms of the direction and decision making. And ultimately, you can't run a business like that. You can't run a corner shop like that, man, let alone, a Premier League football club. So getting one of them out and just having one sort of like main leader is definitely the way to go. That doesn't guarantee success because you're the leader that you end up having. Yeah, might not know what they're doing. But at least it should put the club in one direction. And ultimately, Don's right. You've got to get the football people in there. Yeah, you got to get football people in there. I mean, I spoke about this on this channel so many times about, the way that they've ran this club, the way that they've destroyed Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea won a Champions League. That team didn't need ripping up. It needed a few changes here and there, adding some new players, and they was ready to go. They tore that team apart. Yeah, sat manager after manager. And we're sat here now, and we still don't really know what's going to happen this year with Maresca. You still don't have a proper striker, and the goalkeeper situation is still unclear. So I think this is probably positive news because now you're just going to have one direction. But ultimately, if this person who now is going to take control, it doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't put football in people, you're still going to have issues because they're not going to know what they're doing. And in terms of, is it going to get resolved quickly? Well, that all depends on whether the two guys are willing to sit down and one of them accepts walking away. I don't know where we're up to on that stage.
The thing is, the impatience comes from the fact that we've obviously gone 2 years now with no trophy. We're not in the Champions League 2 years running, which is affecting these guys' pockets. We need to get back in there. And for me, bro, LB, if we won at least even one trophy last year, I think there will be a little bit more patience in the fan base. But people still can't get over the fact that Roman got sanctioned, bro. And what they need to realize is that's got nothing to do with Clearlake. Yeah, they're not Putin. They didn't decide to go and declare a war. Yeah, Roman didn't have any control over a lot of the things of the club when he got sanctioned. But what he did have control over was who he wanted to take over the club, and he was the one that picked Clearlake and Bowley, bro.
Yeah, you can't be blaming Roman.
I'm not blaming Roman. I'm just saying he was the one that looked at all the options that were available, and he looked at them as the best option to take over for Chelsea. Yeah. And if you look at it all depends on what you want, because with Todd Bowley, he seems like a guy that wants to spend whatever to go and win right now, right? So and go buy these players that might be has-beens, for example, like a Cristiano Ronaldo, whereas Egbali is looking at more of a long-term process where you can have sustainable success over a longer period of time. So it all depends on how much.
So they're both wrong then. They're both wrong because they're both horrendous strategies.
That's what I'm saying. You need a balance between the two, bro. You need a balance between the two. You need players.
But when you say that, Don, you backed in the group chat. You said to me, you back what your club's currently doing. But then, LB just said that it's a disgraceful model. So I just love to get your take on.
I don't think the model is a disgrace. 100%. I don't think it's a disgrace. For me, like I've said, I don't want to be overspending on the likes of Osimhen, giving Osimhen $350 a week. Prove yourself at the club first, and then you'll get that payment, right? I don't want to be just going for players that we don't know and playing them in the first team. I want us to be making first team signings. If you're going to be buying all these players that you want to flip, for example, Neto, for example, Sancho, yeah, for example, Lavia, bring me guys for the first team if you're going to be flipping guys for profit.
But why wouldn't you have wanted Osimhen, bro?
I did want Osimhen, yes, but not for crazy money in terms of the wages, bro.
But who cares? It's not your money, bro.
Bro, it's my club. Of course I'm going to care, bro, if my club's overspending on someone.
So you'd rather have Nicholas Jackson up front than Osimhen?
Of course not. No.
So why are you bothered? Why are you bothered about the wages, bro?
Bro, because I don't think he's worth the money that he was asking for, bro.
But at the end of the day,
you got to reach a compromise.
Yeah, but no, you don't have to cut your. It's not your money. It's not your finances.
Bro, but it's my club, bro. We can't have that mentality of it's not my money, bro. It's my club.
All right, so you go into another season with Nicholas Jackson as your striker then instead of Osimhen because you're bothered about £350. This is a billionaire, bro. You see the number on that clip there? It said 90 billion. Do you think that cared? Do you think that matters to you?
No, I've seen this club. Yeah, give ridiculous wages to the likes of fucking Kai Havertz, right? People say, but Kai Havertz won you the Champions League. Kai Havertz for 3 years was not the player that we expected him to be. That's why a lot of Arsenal fans were angry when they saw that Arsenal wanted to buy him. And they were looking at 65 million to go and buy him. We couldn't believe it, bro, right? we time and time again, we kept giving players that didn't prove anything at the club wages that they didn't deserve at the time, right? And that's what I'm saying to you, LB. For the right player, I'll be more flexible. For me, like I've said, if it's Musiala, for example, I'm like, bro, just pay him the money. With Osimhen, I'm like, bro, listen, pay him a good wage. But when he's asking for over 300k a week and that, nah, bro, nah, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be a balance between the two, bro. There needs to be a balance.
But it can't be a subjective balance based on what you want. You either trust Clearlake to make the right decisions or you don't. Obviously, if they make the wrong ones, you'll scrutinize it. It can't just be, well, I like Musiala, so pay him 400 grand a week. I don't rate Osimhen that highly, so I'm going to say it's not a good decision. That's subjective thinking, and club can't take direction from subjectivity, because you could ask 100 different Chelsea fans and get 80 different answers as an example. There has to be almost and I think all football fans are guilty of this. I don't think it's specific to Chelsea. There comes a point where, and I've had it with Ineos in the first few months. Are you happy with everything they've done, Terry? No, of course I'm not. It's impossible to be happy with everything your club does at all times. But you either stand behind it or you don't. We do this in politics. I don't like everything that Labour stands for. It doesn't mean I'm going to go and become a Tory. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there comes a time where you have to be honest. And I think for me, there's a comment here that actually comes through from Never a Foul that says, hold on, Don. Are you saying Lavia is not first team level?
Wait, I did say it's first team level. I said, if we're going to buy young players, right, as well as buying players to flip, you better bring me young players that are ready to play in the first team, is what I said. Yeah? Because you can find a lot of young players of experience, bro. Look at Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho's not even 25, and he's got over 100 appearances, bro. Saka's not even 25. He's got over 200 appearances. That's the route I want to go down. If you're going to bring me young players for the first team, bring me players that are ready to play right now in the Prem. I don't want to be bringing in the likes of Mudryk or even the likes of...
No. You can't do that, though. Because you can't say, bring me... No, we'll pay him the money.
Say that again?
You got to pay him the money then.
Yeah, that's what we did. All the likes of Lavia, they came in and they were happy with the wages.
And now Osimhen's in Galatasaray. This is the point. If you want to sign these players, you have to pay them the money that they want.
Yeah, but bro, listen, we've already seen, like, look, with for example, Jadon Sancho and Felix. Yeah, I know right now their career is all about proving themselves, because obviously their career's kind of gone downhill. Sancho went downhill after going to United. Felix, same sort of thing with Atletico Madrid. So you'll understand why they would take a wage cut. You know what I'm trying to say? With Osimhen, bro, like I've said, yeah, his money was always going to go back up, LB. I hear what you're saying about the money, but it was always going to go back up once he proved himself. They've proven that with Palmer, bro. Palmer's money went up instantly, bro.
But see, the problem is, though, so if your model's advocated, let's say Clearlake takes on your model, but that means you're never signing on Musiala. That means you're never signing a Jadon Sancho or a João Felix in their pomp, because none of those players, I don't think there's any player in the world, unless they have a long-standing, deep-rooted desire to play for your club and or the manager, you're not going to take a player like Musiala, I don't know what he even earns now, away from Bayern Munich, but say, look, bruv, you're coming in on 100 grand a week.
No, that's not going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? But you're advocating for that for Osimhen. You're saying, come here and earn it.
Osimhen as an individual, yes, but not every single player.
So again, you're going to start treating all your players differently. What that is, but yeah, the club wanted Osimhen to be your main number one striker, but wouldn't pay him the money. So why would they change that model for other players they see as number one starters for their team, where they haven't changed it yet?
If it was to go in, for example, like a Haaland, yeah, I don't see us doing the same sort of thing as what we've done for Osimhen, because Haaland is a lot more proven.
But then why don't you go for a better striker than Osimhen and just pay him the money then?
Who else is there right now that's better than Osimhen?
So you're accepting that Osimhen's the best striker that you could get then? So why don't you pay him the money?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying to you, bro. The fact we're not in Champions League, like I've already told you, bro, yeah? We were never going to break the wage structure to go and bring in someone like a Osimhen.
Break the wage structure? You're paying Sterling 175 grand to play at another football club. I think that's
what I'm saying. That was Todd Bowley. That was Todd Bowley that went and did that, yeah? I don't know if you've seen what John Obi Mikel was saying with the whole Osimhen situation. He basically said, Osimhen compromised, Chelsea compromised, and was basically on the edge of getting things finalized, but there wasn't enough time. So it sounds like there was a compromise in the end, bro. Because I was even saying, I said, bro, if Chelsea have got to squeeze up a little bit more, go and do that to bring him in, and then make sure his money goes back up after a year, right? But for me, my way of thinking is prove yourself at the club, and your money will go up, bruv. These lot are given contracts which are very incentivized, right? And you can hit a lot of bonuses to get that money. That's my point. With Osimhen, he wanted guaranteed money.
Top players
He
don't
wanted
want that.
guaranteed
The
money.
top players are not going to accept
But
this. This is the point that
Is Osimhen now world class then? Is that what we're saying now? Is Osimhen's world class now?
You just said a second ago, what better strikers is there than Osimhen? So you've accepted that Osimhen's the best striker that you could have got. So you've not got the best striker that was on the market for you. Because you have this thing of saying, "Oh, we're not spending any money now."
And the thing is, he wasn't asking for 350,000 pound a week. That isn't what any of the reports said.
We offered him 150 is what?
But if you look at Musiala right now, Musiala is currently earning 394,000 a week. Okay, even if you're in the Champions League, your model. Sorry, I'm a liar. I was looking at. I wasn't looking at Musiala. I was looking at Thomas Muller. My dyslexia kicked in. In fairness with Musiala, he's currently on £96,000 a week. So let me readdress that. Okay. So £150,000 a week for him would be a significant pay rise. But if he has another good year at Bayern Munich and he has got the world at his feet and Chelsea come in and say, we want you next summer, they are going to have to offer him because if Bayern Munich want to get him on a new deal, they're going to have to put him on the same kind of money that the Thomas Mullers, the Leroy Sané's, the Kimmich's are on, which is 350,000 up to 400 odd K. That is the bracket, the pricing bracket for a player like him. And I understand your model. And I would say this, I'll believe Chelsea's wage structure model is going to change and they're going to pay these superstars that they think they can still attract the right money when they do it. Until then, I feel like it's a little bit of media spin. I don't think he's worth 400 grand a week, 350 grand a week, Victor Osimhen. He's definitely worth 200 grand a week basic. Has to be. Looking at what he's done in Serie A, how good a football player he is, what level of finisher he is. That's what Ivan Toney. I think if any Premier League club was to sign Ivan Toney, you're telling him you're our main. Any top 6 club tells a player you're our main number 9. You've got to be paid 200 grand a week because you can't play for a club the size of Chelsea as the main number 9 and be paid like a youth project player. You can't be.
I agree. And what was reported is that he was offered 150k basic and bonuses. Right, he was definitely going to score goals.
Too low for a player like him.
He was definitely going to score goals in his team, bro. Yeah, and you know what's crazy about LB? He's accepted 10k more a week at Galatasaray, bro. He didn't end up going Saudi. He didn't end up going Saudi. He ended up going to Galatasaray for basically 10 grand more a week.
But that's because he didn't want. I mean, the reports were very, very, very consistent. He didn't really want to go to Saudi Arabia. He wants to stay in Europe and play Champions League football and European football. However, let me ask you a question when it comes to this model. Do you feel that Clearlake's model is going to deliver Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and sustain quality when it comes to fruition? And you're going into your 3rd season. When is that cutoff point where you say, I believe, like time-wise, where you say we've got to the top of the mountain? How much longer are you giving them for this plan to work? Because historically, when you look at most big clubs, and Chelsea are a gigantic club in football now, forget all the nonsense of no history, you're gigantic. Your model has never been tried. Clearlake want to continue it. They're probably going to own it 100% outright to continue doing it. They're going into their 3rd season. When do you think they're going to get to the top of the mountain?
Bro, they need to keep showing ambition, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying in terms of bringing in the likes of Caicedo, bringing in the likes of Enzo Fernandez, trying to obviously go and get Olise. I know we didn't go and land him in the end. Bayern Munich came in, but I want my club to at least try, bro. Trying to bring in the likes of Osimhen. Yeah. And Terry, bro, these men ain't here for a short time. Yeah. There might be someone else who we go in for and we're like, okay, cool, we're happy to pay this guy. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at it on an individual basis, bro. But of course, this season, bro, we need to get back into Champions League. And next year, we definitely need to be in a position where we're ready to compete, bro. Like I kept telling you,
Osimhen would have helped you get back in the Champions League.
I know that, LB, bro. Everything that you're saying about Osimhen, I agree with it, bro. But what I don't agree with is overpaying for the guy's wages. That's what I don't agree with, bro. That's what I don't agree with. And
the reason why you have to do that, bro, is because sometimes in life,
you need to understand that his money was always going to go back up. That is my point, because I've literally got evidence of where they've done it for one of my players, bro. His money was always going to go back up.
He's not going to accept that because he's one of the best strikers in the
world.
Bro,
why are we acting as if?
What play are you talking about?
Let me just say something. Yeah, look, if Osimhen right now had Arsenal after him, had Liverpool after him, had Man City chasing him, and my club are acting, trying to give the wages that they were, I'm like, bro, come on, you lot on a joke thing. because those other clubs are going to offer him more money. The fact of the matter is, Osimhen was running out of options. Like Terry's already said, he had Saudi or he had.
So you tried to exploit him then?
No, bro. Listen, you got to do what you got to do, bruv. You got to do what you've got to do. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying we're trying to exploit him. I'm not saying we're trying to exploit him. But end of the day, it's a game of poker, right? When it comes to transfers, it's a game of it's
and
a
that
game.
could cost you the top 4.
Players play that game, and bro, I still think we've got enough to get top 4. But in terms of challenging, we don't challenge without a striker, bruv. I keep telling Terry this. We will not challenge without a striker because in those clinical, crucial moments, the likes of Jackson, you just can't depend on it. Yeah, and for us to challenge without
so why wouldn't you just pay the money then? Literally, bro, everything you say makes sense.
I've explained to you why, bro. I've explained to you why. And the
The
money that you're saying that he should get, he was always going to get that after proving himself after year 1, bro. He was always
Okay.
gonna
No. This is where I have a massive problem. Sorry, Terry, just really quick. Yeah, this is where I have a massive problem with you, Don. Yeah, because you're sitting here saying, "Oh, we could have challenged for the league if we had a striker." Yeah. But instead of just going out and paying the money and sucking it up and saying, you know what, yeah, maybe we're overpaying for him, but if we get Osimhen, we could challenge for the league. You're more bothered about sitting there saying, no, it's more important for us as a football club to have this wage structure, yeah, and we'll promise Osimhen that your money will go back up. And therefore, you're basically sacrificing, in your own words, any challenge for the Premier League to maintain this random wage thing.
No, what I'm not gonna do now is start talking about Osimhen like he's world class. That's number 1. And number 2, what I want is hungry players at my club. Yeah, the more goals that you score, the more money you're gonna earn. That's what I want. And if you want guaranteed money without having a mad portfolio, I'm sorry, bro. No,
but hang on. But let me just Don.
I'm looking at it, bro.
Okay, but Don, let me jump in. You want your club to operate like pay as you go, right? You want a pay as you go type contract, right? I get that. Can you cite me where this has worked in football and got a team to the top of the mountain? Because you didn't answer the question actually. When do you think you'll get there? But maybe answer me this question directly. Where has this worked before in European football?
Wait, say that again. I didn't catch that last bit.
So where is this model was like pay, like as you play and as you do better, you get paid more. The model that Clearlake are doing that you're backing, where has this yielded top level success in European football before that makes you so confident it's going to work?
Yeah, but bro, this is what I'm saying to you, bro, Terry. You're looking at Osimhen. I'm looking at Osimhen as an isolated situation, bro. I can't tell you here. No one can sit here and say they're gonna be like this for every single person now. Every single superstar, every single big name, they're gonna be like this, bro. Until that happens, right now, I can only look at it in isolation. And the fact that Osimhen only had us and Saudi chasing him didn't play in his favor, bro. If there was other clubs that were after Osimhen, maybe Chelsea would have ended up offering more money. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't have many options on the table. So Chelsea probably thought they could take the piss a little bit. That's the point that I'm making. So I can't tell you, yeah, this, every single player now, we're not going to pay the money. I don't know, bro. Yeah, but what I do agree with is making sure that these players earn their money, right, properly, bro. Put all these bonuses in their contracts, do all that stuff, and increase their money if they perform.
So I understand that, and it feeds into what you said. I want hungry players. So this notion of like pay as you go, you want hungry players. Again, let me ask you the question. You're confident it's going to work. You've said that on multiple channels. You've said it in the group chats. Why are you so confident of a model that, as far as I can tell, hasn't yielded success at the highest level in European football before? What makes you so confident?
Bro, because they've already showed a level of flexibility, bro. When it comes to spending a lot of money on the likes of Caicedo, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, the fact that Igbali flew out himself to go and get these deals wrapped up. Right, he actually flew out to Naples to go get that sorted out. That's when Chelsea fans were feeling a little bit more confident that it will get done. And like Mikel was saying, it sounds like they literally reached an agreement, but there was no time. I'm not there in the room, bro. He's the one that said that, right? And we might go back in for him in January, yeah. But it all depends on how we're doing up there. For me, bro, like I've said, I still think we've got enough to get top 4. But in order to challenge, we need a striker, bruv. We need a striker,
100%. But this is the problem. So you need a striker to challenge for the league. A striker was there, but you're too bothered about talking about Osimhen saying, "Oh, you need to prove yourself." You're talking about Osimhen as if he's a 19-year-old, bro.
No, Osimhen, bro, because you're talking about Osimhen as if he's fucking Haaland. That's the problem.
What
you're talking about him as if he's this world-class guaranteed guy, bro.
No, because you said it before. You couldn't name any striker that you could have got that was better than Osimhen, could you?
No, bro. If you go list Gyökeres, for example, you might want to go get him. Some people preferred Toney over Osimhen.
But you
For
didn't
me,
go for any of them.
this is what I said on the last day. This what pissed me off about this whole situation, yeah. Because if we didn't get Osimhen, I was saying go get Toney, but Toney ended up going to Saudi, so that was done. We had no option there, right? I said go get me Duran if you can't get me Toney or Osimhen. Duran would have ended up costing like 70 million, bro, because that was deadline day. So we fucked with Osimhen. This whole
So you
Osimhen
would have
thing,
paid for Duran though.
putting our exit. Hold on, LB. Yeah, putting our eggs in one basket fucked us. That's the problem. It fucked us because there was other options that we could have gone if we didn't get Osimhen. That is the problem that I've got. That we didn't go and get someone else.
I understand that, but I still don't feel like you've answered my question around when
Bro,
you think.
You're asking me to put a date on it. Like,
I'm asking you to. Well, because I think we're having an honest conversation. If you turned around to me and said, "When do you think Ineos will get Man United back to being a consistent challenger for the Premier League title?" I think within a 3 to 4 season period, they're going to achieve that. I have confidence in what they're doing. I'm asking you 2 questions, and you're very good at this. That's why you should have been a lawyer, bro. You're very good at recruitment. You should have been a lawyer. I've asked you, how long do you think until Clearlake get you back to the top of the mountain? And I've
when
asked
you say top of the mountain, what's that? Do you mean competing or do you mean winning the league?
So when I say competing, I mean, and it's interesting because Ineos and Barada have said this, and I agree with it. Barada has said about Man United that we're not interested in having a quick spike, winning the Premier League and falling away again. We want to be a team that is consistently good enough to win the Prem and Champions League year in, year out. How Chelsea were from 2003 right through until sort of 2015, 2016, a team that was always considered a contender for the league and always considered a contender for the Champions League. You're two and a bit years in. How many more years until you think Clearlake are going to have you at that level?
Bro, like I've said, for me, the major piece that we need now is a striker. That's the next big signing that we need to make. LB, you keep laughing, bro. It's true. Right?
It's just hilarious, bro. That you keep saying all we need is a striker.
Everything that you said, LB, everything
I trust the people that didn't buy the striker.
Bro,
I don't get it.
No, but the thing is, bro, listen, I had many other options other than Osimhen that I would have gone for. Unfortunately, my club didn't. That's what pissed me off about the situation. We should have gone in and got another striker if we couldn't get Osimhen wrapped up. That is my problem. Yeah, but in terms of Terry's question, bro, I reckon within at least the next 2 years, bro. At least the next 2 years, because this year, like I've said, to get back into Champions League, and that should hopefully mean that we go and fucking bring a striker. Because we could go bring a striker in January, and that just speeds things up a little bit more, Terry. Yeah, because you already know my take. You already know my take about challenging and what we need to do. But we ain't gonna challenge without a striker. There's no way. There's no way, bro. If we do, I'll be surprised. That means the wingers are putting up serious numbers, and Jackson is basically doing what Firmino did for Liverpool, bro.
I understand that. There's a few super chats here that say, first one says, Terry, you're a finance guy. I know secretly you like the Chelsea plan. They have to make exceptions sometimes, but you know it's sound. I don't think every element of what Chelsea tried to build is wrong. What I find really interesting is that I do believe there is a wage cap, and it's in and around that 150,000. And I've sort of seen people, oh, that's not because we've put someone on 160. That is so far the only exceptions that we've seen. What something is in terms of a plan and what you do in reality, there were 2 different things. So again, I like what Ineos have said they're going to do with Man United. I like some of the early steps, but they've got to do it. They've got to deliver. So Chelsea fans, Ches and Donna, 2 of them were in our group chat all year, were like, don't listen to the Simon Phillipses and the Cancellas about this wage cap thing. You will see signings this summer will prove that we're beyond that. There was no signing made this summer by Chelsea that proves that there isn't some type of 150, 160 base level wage cap. So I think a lot of what's said is right. I understand the model, but you also then need to throw in, does this work? And one question that I haven't seen answered by any Chelsea fan that backs Clearlake yet is, cite me where this model was yielded Chelsea level success ever before in football.
Well, that's the thing, Terry. Like, if we, for example, if we go chase Gyökeres in the summer, yeah, everyone's gonna be after this guy. Yeah, we can't go to Gyökeres and start offering him 150 a week because we're not gonna get him. That's the reality. That's why I'm saying to you, Chelsea tried to play their cards because they knew it was only us and Saudi after Osimhen. And if there was another club LB involved, Chelsea might have changed their stance and said, you know what, just give him the money kind of thing. Right. But again, I can't guarantee that because look what happened with Olise. Bayern Munich offered him more money or whatever and Champions League. And we said, no, we can't match that. And we left it alone. We got rejected.
Gav here says the Champions League team was done. Rodri, who's Chris?
Christensen.
Christiansen, yeah, there we go. Alonso, Werner, Aspi, Lukaku all wanted to leave. Reece James and Chile injured. We have 2 players for our backline and no striker. Kante injured often. It was a mess.
Yeah, that clear out was much needed. That clear out was much needed.
Having one owner will fix the divided boardroom. However, based on articles and what has happened already, that one approach is more like a company with assets, and the other one is more like a club approach. Yeah, I think it's going to be intriguing to learn more about that. Our own owner, Todd Bowley, doesn't even follow the model in any sport. He is the owner of. Bowley was part of a team that spent $1 billion on 2 players. Yeah, again, I can't speak for American sports. I don't know enough about them, to be fair. You do realize a bonus was offered to Osimhen would still be less than the $250K a week, which he earns at Napoli. He has a right to demand as a top 3 striker.
Yeah, and if he performed to a crazy level where he's putting up numbers, gets us back into Champions League comfortably, I've got no doubt that his money would have gone back up. I've got clear evidence of people's money going back up, bro.
A replacement for Odegaard was my main worry over a striker this transfer window. Jay, sorry we didn't see that one earlier. I missed that one. Thank you very much. Look, we're at the end of the stream now. We could probably do it for another hour or so, but we've all got commitments, work, and also other things on. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in, everybody that's hit the like button so far. You're amazing. To all of our super chatters, to all of our members, everyone, absolutely top notch. I want to thank you all very much. Well, we passed 400,000 subscribers this week as well, which is mind blowing. And road to 500,000. Yeah, hopefully we hit that in the next. I don't think we'll hit it by the end of the season. We grow by about 50,000 a year, so we've probably got another year or so to wait for that. But listen, we're on our way there. LB, Don, always a pleasure, boys, to sit and speak to the two of you and talk football. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.